club. We have people join from all majors, all levels of experience and background every quarter. We all get together to write an original TV pilot. This quarter we were fortunate enough to have 30 people sign up, which was super exciting, and we were able to produce 3 amazing shows. So, yeah, it's awesome, and we're going to hope to keep that great membership up for next quarter. So if you're interested, we will have a pre-quarter interest list on our Instagram very soon. Black Box SCAD, you can find us there. And yeah, give it a shot. It's a great way to build your writing skills, to learn how to work collaboratively, and have a good time, meet new people. So without further ado, CJ, do you want to come up and tell us about the show?
Hi everyone, my name is CJ and I was the showrunner for this writer's room this quarter. Our script is called Mike Jersey, and I know I personally poured my heart and soul into the script and had so much fun doing it. It was amazing collaborating with my team, and I think we're all really, really proud of what we have created. I'm so excited to see our actors bring this script to life at the table read. Honestly, I'm not going to tell you too much about the script. I would love to just do it and get feedback from y'all, so I'm not going to delay too much longer. Let me introduce our cast. Okay, first we have Juan Edenhofer as Mike Jersey. Next we have Corinne Soroka as Adeline. Next, we have Robert Damish as Phil. Next, we have Miles Lawson playing Ryan Howe. Next, we have Walter Buncombe as Hank. Next, we have Becca Key playing the therapist, Wendy, and barista. Next, and finally, we have Knox Pillay as announcer, MC, and fan. Let me introduce who will be reading our action. Reading action lines for Act 1 will be Desmond Lane. Reading action lines for Act 2 will be Emily Sanders. And reading action lines for Act 3 will be me, CJ.
CJ.
I am so excited to see what you guys think. This is a comedy. Feel free to laugh. We love laughter. I might be laughing. So I hope you guys enjoy. This is Mike Jersey. Thank you so much.
Interior, Titters, night, old tape. On the stage stands young Mike, late 20s, lean, good looking. There's a sign hanging from the ceiling that reads, Titters Comedy Club. Mike paces the stage as a wave of laughter subsides. He takes a sip of water and sets it down, chuckling to himself.
So we're halfway through our dinner when I realize I forgot my wallet. It's my first date and all I can think is that the only thing more embarrassing than a girl paying for your dinner is having to ask her to pay for your dinner.
The crowd laughs, beat.
That's when I made a beeline for the bathroom and I climbed out the window.
The crowd laughs even harder.
Don't get me wrong, I wasn't going to leave her stranded there.
Beat.
I don't mind walking, so it's a good thing she's the one that drove.
The crowd roars with laughter. We start to zoom out. The picture becomes a bit pixelated. Young Mike speaks over a current Mike.
Crisis averted.
Interior, Mike's living room, evening. It is now apparent the scene we just watched was on the television. We continue to zoom out and see the space. On the coffee table, there is a bottle of whiskey accompanied by a drinking glass with a generous pour. All around are photos of a happy couple. On the couch, an older version of the man we saw on TV, Mike, 40s, dad bod, unkempt. Chuckling, he writes down the last line from the tape before returning to watch the TV intently and longingly.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. Don't forget to come tomorrow too. Man gotta pay his bills.
On the screen, we see young Mike pull a woman up onto the stage. She looks like a younger version of the woman in the photographs.
And a special thanks to my lovely fiance who keeps letting my dumb ass back on this stage.
She and the crowd laugh. The young couple embraces.
God, what a woman.
Click. The screen goes black. Mike tosses the TV remote and takes a deep breath. He fiddles with his wedding ring before taking a big sip from his drink. He grabs the picture closest to him, admiring it before placing it face down. Ding! Mike's phone buzzes. A message from Adeline reads, "Have you left yet?" Mike grunts before downing his drink. He grabs his car keys and leaves the apartment. Act 1. Interior, exterior, Adeline's car, night. Mike sits in the running car in a lovely LA suburb. He stares at the house across the street. The door opens. The woman from the picture exits. This is Adeline, 42, strong, confident, Caucasian. A chiseled man is in his boxer standing in the doorway as she leaves. He pulls her back before she gets too far. He lays a passionate kiss on her. Mike's face glowers. They speak quietly. Adeline smiles and leaves. She walks over to the car. She pulls on the door handle. It's locked.
Sorry.
He hits a button. She yanks on the door again. No avail.
You gotta hit the other one.
I know.
He hits another button. She yanks again. Still locked.
Well, you didn't unlock it, so do you know?
Yes, I know how to open a car door. This new shit is just weird.
Rinse, repeat.
I'm just saying, this happens every time, so I wonder.
Well, you keep yanking on the door early, so maybe that's it.
He finally gets it.
Thank you.
She hops in. Mike pulls off. Interior, exterior. Adeline's car, night, moments later. They cruise down a roadway with light traffic. They sit in silence until...
Sorry you had to see that.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's great.
Don't do that thing with your voice.
I'm not doing a thing with my voice.
Yes, you are. You just did it again.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. It's your I'm annoyed voice.
That's not a thing I do.
Yes, it's like, yeah, it's fine.
I don't sound like that.
I did a pretty good job.
No, it has a little bit more bass into it, you know.
A beat.
Seriously though, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm great. Totally great. Just great. I'm happy for you.
Thanks. So, you seeing anybody?
Yeah, we really don't have to talk about it.
Oh, thank Christ.
Exterior, Titters parking lot, night. The lot is littered with cars. Mike pulls into a marked space for the manager. Interior, exterior, Adeline's car, night, continuous. Mike and Adeline share a look.
You ready?
Always.
They exit the car. Interior, Titters, night. Adeline struts through the space. Mike follows right behind her. They pass by a waitress, Wendy, 30s, brash yet sweet, flowing tattoos. She carries a tray of jades.
Hey, Addie. Mike.
What did you do to Wendy?
I may or may not have stood her up for a date.
Of course.
If you ask me, I dodged the bullet.
They stroll past the bar. An older man, Hank, 60s, tough, sincere, and brutally honest, stands behind the counter pouring drinks. He overhears.
I hear you missed out on that best head of your life.
Don't spread rumors.
Wendy comes to the counter.
Not a rumor.
She glares at Mike.
You're lost.
Adeline laughs at the vacant look on Mike's face.
Oh, she could never outdo you, baby.
Addie whacks him.
Go set up. You're on in 2 minutes.
Mike heads to the stage. Adeline stops him.
Hey, break a leg.
He smiles at the sincerity in her voice. He salutes her. Mike walks around the crowd of drunk guests as the lights begin flashing. An announcer's voice rings out.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The announcer's voice echoes. Mike stands by the stage.
pipe your asses down, get ready for the one, the only, Mike Jersey.
A silhouette of Mike strikes center frame. He steps on stage. Title card, Mike Jersey.
Hello, everyone. How about them Giants, huh? Am I right? How about them Giants?
A few people snicker and whisper to each other.
Oh, I see a lot of couples out here tonight, huh? What's up? Is everyone in love tonight?
A few people snicker and whisper to each other.
Personally, I think it's better to be high than in love. But hey, they do have something in common. It's good to have something to look forward to doing at the end of the night, you know?
Mike raises his eyebrow provocatively. The audience lets out a few light giggles and Mike feeds off it.
You know, I get so tired of people telling me that the weed is bad. Like, do I look like I'm new to this?
The crowd laughs louder. A few people even applaud. Mike gets into it.
People love to lecture, you know? They do, but they can never really explain how it's bad, you know? So I did a little research myself and found that there is a high correlation between using marijuana and lack of motivation. Which is plain why my laundry doesn't get done.
Some light laughter. One person groans.
But hell, I could just fake being homeless as an excuse. No shirt, no problem.
Mike's eyes are alight with adrenaline.
Speaking of being shirtless, why do those surfers dudes always get a free pass, huh? Can somebody tell me? The sign says no shirt, no service. And what happens? The ladies serve the dudes first because they're ripped.
Two couples leave their spot by the stage and exit the club. Adeline taps her watch, signals to the announcer.
Hey, it's 2021. Equality, right? Why not just take them back to the kitchen and just take them back to the kitchen?
Okay, everybody. Give it up for our main man, Mike Jersey.
Light applause sprinkles throughout the audience. Audience members look at each other. The announcer takes the microphone from Mike and gives him a friendly clap on the shoulder. Mike walks off stage.
Okay, everyone. We'll be back in a few with Ryan Howe.
The crowd cheers. Mike walks over to Adeline. She stares at him coolly.
Okay, so I know...
No,
Funny, that's what I was gonna say.
you dick.
Mike laughs.
Alright. So it got a little bit more risque than I intended, but it just came to me. I had to go for it.
No, you didn't.
Come on.
Hell, I could fake being homeless as an excuse.
Mike pauses, searches for justification.
Well, that's not how I actually feel, Evelyn. Come on, it's all this political bullshit really what the people want? They're coming here of all places. They don't really care.
Adeline scoffs. She pulls out her phone. Mike eyes her, confused as she toggles.
What are you doing?
Shut up.
She hands him the phone. Mike looks at it, then back at her.
What the hell is this?
Just read it.
Mike takes the phone.
Dope plays but smells like shit and weed though. Well, that's not true. It's more like piss and heroin.
Adeline stares at him. He gets the message. He continues.
Needs an update on the talent? Old ass plays with knock-knock jokes? Creepy ass?
Oh, that's my favorite.
Creepy ass Mike Pence motherfucker with whack ass shit jokes from the 80s? This shit's mad mental.
What?
Oh, I added that last bit.
Mike.
Come on. I'm just screwing around. Plus the Mike Pence thing, that Mike Pence thing is lazy. Just because we have the same name? You really listen to these punk bitches on the internet who cry every time someone upsets them? Who cares, Abby?
I care, Mike.
A beat.
Look, there's something I've been meaning to go over with you for your set.
What?
I gotta cut back on you for weekends and give Ryan your time slot.
Mike absorbs this. His mind whirls from shock, confusion, and hurt, then anger.
You have to be kidding me over this millennial bullshit?
It's not just that.
Then what is it?
You're not getting people in. You're not getting people in.
An asteroid rocks Mike's world. He stares at Adeline.
Things here aren't doing great. We're hovering over okay right now, but if we don't fix something soon, we're gonna be bleeding money.
Mike takes a moment. He searches through his brain again.
Okay. I'll cut it out. I'll try some new stuff. I'll build a fucking pride floor if I have to, but Addie, you can't do this to me.
Adeline holds her gaze. her eyes sincere, reluctant, pitiful.
I don't want to, but something's gotta give, Mike. You need to give me something.
They don't speak. The air settles around them. Mike starts, but it is interrupted.
All right, you crackheads. Who's ready for our next comic?
The crowd cheers.
Please, give it up for Ryan Howe.
The audience erupts into applause. Ryan, 26, handsome, vibrant, runs in through the crowd. Industry Baby by Lil Nas X plays as he makes his way on stage. The crowd is still cheering. He grabs the microphone.
All right. Thank you.
They keep going. Mike watches the crowd, a longing in his eyes.
All right, shut up. Jesus, fuck, I get it, I'm amazing.
The crowd laughs.
First thing you should know about me, if I was a girl, my parents would have named me Esther.
They laugh. Ryan gives the audience a profile shot.
You can see it, can't you? Huh?
Mike turns to Adeline. He detonates.
Listen to me. If anyone needs to be updated, it's that hotshot right there, Adeline.
He turns back to the stage. Mike stares intensely at Ryan. The roar of laughter consumes the room. Interior, exterior, Adeline's car, night, silence. Adeline drives. Her eyes drift to Mike. He stares fiercely out the window. Adeline slows to a stop in front of Mike's apartment building. Mike doesn't move at first. Without saying a word, he opens the door. He steps out and slams the door shut. He makes it a few paces when...
Hey,
Mike turns to Adeline.
you did great tonight. You always do great.
Mike holds onto her words. He smiles.
Good night, Addie.
He turns, resumes his path. Adeline drives off.
Liar.
End of Act 1.
Mike wakes up still in his clothes from last night. His alarm clock beeps. Groggy, he gets out of bed. Interior, Mike's bathroom day. Mike notices a gray hair sticking out of the middle of his two eyebrows. He plucks it and winces. Interior, Mike's kitchen day. Mike walks into his kitchen and opens a drawer full of multiple vitamin bottles. He gets a glass of water and downs a set of pills. Mike glances at a magnetic calendar attached to the fridge. A weekly reminder is circled in red, marked therapy. Mike opens his fridge, pokes his head inside looking for milk. He grabs the milk and pours it into his bowl of cereal. The milk is clumpy. He looks at the expiration date and gags. Interior, grocery store day. Mike walks down a grocery store aisle, looks at the selection of milk, chooses whole milk. There is a voice from behind him. This is a fan of his.
Excuse me.
The fan reaches for milk at the same time.
Oh.
They both awkwardly make eye contact. The fan has a moment of realization.
Oh my God, you're Mike Jersey?
Yeah.
I'm like a huge fan of yours. My mom showed me your stuff. I kind of grew up watching you.
Oh, really? What stuff?
I really like the Falling Down sketches. We have that on DVD.
Oh, you still have a DVD player? That's awesome.
Well, no. We got rid of it. You were so cool back then, dude.
Long beat.
Anyways, my mom drinks, she drinks whole milk too, so...
Mike gives him his whole milk from his hand.
Here.
There's a long pause.
Can you sign the milk for her?
Interior therapist office day. A chill California therapist office adorned with earth tones. A marijuana plant is in the corner. Incense is burning on the coffee table. Mike and Adeline stand back to back, awkwardly trying to give each other a back-to-back hug. They're pretty sure it's not even possible. Close-up of their hands fumbling. Mike's hand inches close to Adeline's breast. She swats it away.
Off limits!
Sorry.
They struggle with the hug, arms twisting, eyes darting, frustrated.
This hug is symbolic. It's how you're trying to figure out your relationship as you move into different directions.
Mike is nearly choking himself with his own arms. He moves to another position, reaching his arms over his head, getting his hand caught in Adeline's hair.
That's my hair.
The therapist hits a chime. Ding! They stop the exercise. Adeline shakes out her arms.
All right, good.
She motions for them to have a seat. Mike and Adeline wearily sink into the couch.
So the last time we spoke, you said that it's going well then? The transition of separate living arrangements?
It's been good to have my own space. I can breathe, be, put up abstract art pieces without Mike's comments about how he could easily replicate them.
And what do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I could probably replicate them. Abstract art is stupid. I mean, 3-year-olds do it and they still wet their beds, so.
No, I mean, how's the transition going for you?
It's good.
Mike shifts on the couch uncomfortably.
Can I have more adjectives, Mike?
Oh, it's good. It's productive. Quiet, I guess.
Quiet.
The therapist watch timer beeps.
That's time for our individual session.
Adeline, who knows the drill, gets up from the couch.
See you at the club later.
Adeline exits, closing the door softly behind her. It clicks shut. Mike, who holds a decorative throw pillow in his arms, starts to breathe heavily. The therapist watches him. Mike lets out a strange sound, a cross between a sigh and a sob. He buries his face in the pillow.
I want to see her later.
Huh?
I want to see her.
You need to...
Mike grudgingly lifts his head from the pillow. A tear is at the corner of his eye.
I said, I don't want to see her. Not like this, not with someone.
That must hurt. But you knew this was going to happen eventually. It's natural for her to want to see other people. It's normal.
Freaking doctor? She's a creative. He doesn't get her.
Like you do?
Mike stares at the therapist.
But if you really got each other, then why are you here?
Mike doesn't respond. The therapist slips her feet with blue painted toenails out of her sandals. She leans back and rests her feet on a coffee table. Interior Titters Comedy Club night. Mike is seen on stage doing his comedy set.
Am I right? Who in here likes them giants, huh? How about them giants? Am I right?
A couple audience members get out of their seats and move away from the stage. Mike eyes the crowd, watching them leave.
Come on, guys, I didn't even get to the good jokes yet.
Mike reaches for his back pocket and pulls out his phone. He goes into his notes and it reads, "In case you are bombing."
So, what kind of noise does a witch vehicle make? Brum brum.
Two audience members walk back to their seats. Mike squints through the stage lights, only seeing the audience members' silhouettes.
Here we go. I guess we know who my real fans are.
Two audience members sip their drinks.
Oh, you got drinks! How nice! What are you guys drinking? I remember when my dad would drink every night. Yeah, those were some sad moments in my life.
Mike pinches the skin between his eyes, cringing at his own joke. One person from the audience speaks. "We're drinking your pain on the rocks. Shake it, not stir." The audience laughs. Mike darkly walks off the stage.
Yeah, my name's Mike Jersey. Have a good fucking night.
Mike drops the mic. The audience applauses. Mike comes back on stage. The audience stops clapping. Someone boos. Mike walks off stage again, and the audience claps again. Ryan jogs up onto the stage with exuberant energy. His jaunty vibe is contagious. The small crowd goes wild. Some guests sitting at the bar walk over as Ryan's set begins.
Tell me, everybody, how's you feeling tonight? How you feeling?
Ryan casually kneels down on stage, engaging the audience. Interior Titters nightclub night. Mike flops his head onto the counter where Hank is working. Hank ignores him, washing shot glasses. Mike groans. Hank ignores him. Mike groans louder.
Yeah, Mike.
What does she see in him, Hank? What does he have that I don't?
Mike
Who?
looks up at Hank. Hank looks at Mike.
Who?
Adeline and Ryan.
Oh, I don't think they're dead.
Oh, they're not. But she thinks he's way funnier than me. I just want to know what he's got over me, you know?
Do you want me to actually answer that?
Yeah, no.
Excuse me. Do either...
You're excused. Mike, do you want my honest answer on what he has that you don't? Do you truthfully, with your whole heart, want to know?
Phil patiently waits.
Hank, I swear to God, if you say he's younger than me or something...
He's younger than you, Mike. He can relate better to the audience, that's all.
Sorry, are you guys talking about Ryan Howe?
Yeah,
Yeah, Mike's just upset.
not even that upset.
Wait, but you're Mike? Like as in Mike Jersey?
Mike's eyes light up.
Depends who's asking.
That wasn't funny, Mike.
Look, I've heard so much about you. It's a pleasure to actually meet you in person. My name's Phil Hampton.
They shake hands.
Hey, also, sorry to bother you, but do you serve sparkling water?
Hank pours tap water into a glass and ironically drops a lemon slice into it. He slides the glass towards Phil.
Oh, thank you.
Phil pulls out an emergency powder packet from his suit coat pocket and lightly pours the powder into his glass.
What's that?
Emergency powder. Something to take the edge off a little bit.
Mike stares in disgust. Phil carefully folds up the remainder of the packet. He slips it into his jacket pocket, saving it for later.
So, is this your full-time job, Mike?
For the time being, yeah. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future, though, now that the kid stole my show. What line of work are you in?
Oh, I'm actually a physician at a children's hospital. Not quite as fun as doing stand-up, but we do get a few jokes thrown around sometimes.
Okay, hit me.
Oh, okay. What does a surgeon... Wait, let me one more time. All right. Why does a surgeon wear a mask?
I don't know. Why?
Audience members erupting with laughter cut into their conversation. They both turn to listen to one of Ryan's jokes.
I was so whipped by this one girl sophomore year. So whipped.
I don't even get this one. I heard it in his practice room.
Anyway, I was such a swimp that I did her French homework for 2 semesters. Long story short, I found out she just uses guys, but does girls.
Ryan raises his eyebrows provocatively. A few audience members whistle.
So for my own self-respect, I stopped helping her. I don't dare to mention that for her final exam was oral.
A couple audience members snicker.
I know what your dirty minds are thinking. Not that oral, but that would be tight. Oral as in you gotta speak French. So she fails. I swear, bitch didn't even read her own syllabus.
The audience laughs. Mike shakes his head disapprovingly.
I'm pretty impressed that Ryan can speak French.
Mike looks at Phil strangely. Mike and Phil both get up and join the crowd surrounding the stage to watch the rest of Ryan's show. Ryan continues his comedy sketch in the background. Phil and Mike mindlessly scan the room. They spot Adeline in a corner booth surrounded by a stack of paperwork. She waves at them. Both men wave back simultaneously. Mike turns to Phil, confused. Phil stands smiling, still gazing at Adeline.
You know Adeline?
Yeah.
She's the best, huh? How do you know her?
Oh, Adeline's my girlfriend.
Your what?
I'm sorry, this place is a little loud. Adeline is my girlfriend.
I see. The doctor.
Adeline waves again from across the room, trying to get their attention. She gestures for Phil and Mike to join her at the booth. The two walk towards Adeline. Phil walks just a little bit faster and slides into the booth next to Adeline. He gives her a quick peck on the cheek. Mike watches. Mike reluctantly sits down across from them.
Mike, this is Phil. Phil, Mike.
Yeah, we met Adeline.
They sit in silence. The crowd surrounding Ryan laughs once again.
Mike. So, I never finished my joke. So, why does a surgeon wear a mask?
Phil waits for Mike to respond. Mike stares at Adeline, pissed. Phil finishes his own joke.
So, no one will recognize them when they make a mistake.
Phil, pleased with himself, smirks at his own joke. Exterior Titters Comedy Club parking lot, night. Adeline, Phil, and Mike wander outside together. Mike rubs his eyes and stretches. Phil unlocks the chain on his bike, removing it from the bike rack.
Biking, Phil?
Yeah, someone's got to save the environment, right? I do what I can.
Phil puts on his bike helmet. He struggles to fasten the chin strap. Adeline steps in to help. Click, the chin strap fastens.
Thanks, babe.
Phil gives Adeline an affectionate tap on the nose with his pointer finger. Mike, who stands a few feet away, puts a finger into his mouth, miming gagging himself. When he stops, Adeline glares back at him. Phil hops on his bike and pedals away, leaving Adeline and Mike alone. They watch Phil bike off into the distance.
Really, Addie?
He's successful. He's cool in his own circle. You don't know him like I do, trust me.
If you say so.
Adeline shuffles one foot, lightly kicking some gravel.
Oh, also, I won't be at the club tomorrow.
Why not?
Phil's got an event, a formal charity thing for the hospital. I'm his +1.
Oh, well, that sounds...
You should come.
Mike looks surprised.
Huh?
Yeah, Phil mentioned that they could use some live entertainment. He thinks you'd be good at it.
Phil said that?
He knows we still work together, and he wants everybody to get along. Besides, this is a way for you to branch out, experiment a little.
Nah, that doesn't sound like my kind of thing.
Which is exactly why you should do it. You know some of it's not working, Mike. Your comedy...
Mike sighs. He throws up his hands, irritated.
So you keep telling me.
Mike turns his back and begins walking to his car. Adeline calls after him.
Just come to the event.
Mike doesn't respond, walks the rest of the way to his car. When he reaches his car, he turns back to Adeline. He points at her.
You know, for you, Addie. Just for you.
Mike opens his car door and gets inside. The car door shuts. End of Act 2.
Interior Mike's kitchen, early morning. Mike enters the dimly lit kitchen, his house slippers shuffling softly on the tile floors. He ties his robe, yawning. The light flips on. The coffee machine is plugged into the wall. Mike opens the cabinet to grab a bag of coffee beans. As he reaches for the coffee, he stops. Cute mugs labeled Mr. and Mrs. sit in the cabinet next to the coffee grounds. Mike's phone buzzes. He pulls it out of his robe pocket and sees a calendar notification on the lock screen. Phil's thing, 8:30 p.m. Mike looks back at the Mr. and Mrs. mugs. He slowly closes the cabinet, leaves the house. Exterior street, morning. Mike shivers and slips on his denim jacket as he walks to the nearest local cafe. He walks with his hands in his pockets and blinks his eyes in the morning sunlight, still trying to wake up. He doesn't make eye contact with anyone as he walks, keeping to himself until he stumbles upon the cafe, almost missing it. Interior cafe, morning. The door chimes as Mike enters the cafe. He stands in a small line of people waiting to order.
Good morning. What can I get for you today?
Yeah, large vanilla latte, hot, thanks.
Mike hands over some cash.
No problem. It'll be at the end for you.
He walks to the end of the bar, looks out of the windows lining the front door. Tables are full of people drinking their coffees. Customers with dogs are sitting at patio tables outside. Mike notices a family at one of the tables. 2 kids are running around the sidewalk, throwing a ball for their dog to catch. The children are giggling. As the door swings open and a customer exits, Mike hears the parents yelling at the kids to come back to the table. The kids rejoin their parents smiling. They dig into chocolate chip cookies on their plates. Mike leans on the counter, transfixed by the image of this family. He jolts when he feels something burn his arm.
Shit.
Mike's latte spills onto the counter, burning his arm as it seeps into his jacket sleeve. The cup falls onto the floor. Coffee drips off the counter and onto his pants.
I'm so sorry. I'll remake that for you in...
Napkins?
Yes. Yeah. Here you go. 1 minute on the coffee.
The barista hands Mike some napkins, gives him a sympathetic look. Mike tries to wipe the coffee stains off of his jacket. He shakes his head and tosses the wad of napkins into the trash can. When he looks back out the window, the family is gone. Interior Mike's bedroom, afternoon. Mike stands in front of a full-length mirror, examining his figure in a clean-cut suit. He tugs at the suit jacket's lapel, straightening it so it lays flat against his chest. It still looks lumpy. Mike tries to straighten it again and tugs at the collar. He becomes frustrated.
God. Beth.
Mike tears off the jacket, tosses it onto his bed.
I live you in my closet for 10 years and this is how you treat me?
Silence. Mike sighs. He goes to his closet, looks through the other clothing options, an outdated Adidas tracksuit, a Budweiser graphic tee, and an old Halloween costume. He pulls out a plain white shirt. He sifts through his things and finds a formal striped tie. He tosses the items onto his bed. Interior upscale hotel ballroom, evening. Chandeliers glow overhead, casting warm light all over the ballroom. Circular tables with white tablecloths are neatly arranged. Tasteful flower and balloon decorations are scattered throughout the space. A large monitor resembling a movie screen is located at the far end of the ballroom. It displays a message. Welcome to the annual Children's Hospital fundraiser. Guests dressed in semi-formal attire, a few in doctor's coats, huddle in groups, mingling. Mike stands awkwardly off to the side, wearing a plain white t-shirt with a tie over it. Adeline and Phil enter, looking extremely put together. Mike waves at them. Adeline and Phil walk over to join him.
Adeline frowns as she looks Mike up and down.
You look stunning, Addie.
Thanks. I thought I mentioned this was a formal event.
Didn't you say semi-formal? The t-shirt is semi, the tie is the formal, you see?
Adeline looks irritated.
I even ironed the shirt.
Give him your jacket, please.
No, I don't want his jacket.
Take the jacket.
Phil shrugs off his blazer and hands it over to Mike. Phil wears a pinstripe button down underneath. To Mike's dismay, he still looks polished. Mike grudgingly slips on Phil's blazer, adjusting the collar.
That's better.
I can dress myself, Addie.
Uh-huh.
Oh, hey, I want to introduce some of my colleagues. They've been asking about you.
Phil gently places his hand on Adeline's back, guiding her away from Mike. They head towards a group of sophisticated-looking guests, leaving Mike alone. Mike hangs back and observes the crowd. He watches Adeline shake hands with the other guests, an animated smile on her face. She's clearly playing the room. Mike is startled by a tap on his shoulder.
You look like you can use this.
Jesus.
Mike turns to see Ryan holding out a cup.
Ryan?
That's my name.
How could I forget, kid?
Mike grabs the cup from Ryan. He takes a swig of the drink, makes a face.
What's this?
I call it Ryan's riot juice.
Mike blinks at him.
Special recipe for college. I made it back at the bar.
No. Just no.
Mike hands the cup back to him. Ryan downs the drink.
Wait, why are you even here?
Oh, Phil invited me.
Phil? What, did he invite the whole comedy club?
Nah, I don't think so. Me and him are friends.
What could you possibly have in common with that guy?
Ryan shrugs. Mike and Ryan look at the crowd where Phil and Adeline are chatting. Phil smiles, sips on his flavored water, and pops a Tums into his mouth.
I also want to practice networking.
A real bright idea. A comedian networking with a bunch of stuffy doctors. Sounds like the beginning of a bad porno.
People talk to people, Mike. It's all about who you know nowadays. They have spouses, friends, people in high up places, maybe. And if not, then free food and drinks, right?
Or you can work hard and people will take notice. When you got passion and talent, you don't need networking.
Maybe you should write that in a vice book, man.
Ryan watches as an artfully arranged platter of mini pretzel bites is set down at a buffet table across the room. His eyes go wide like a kid in a candy shop.
What? They serving pretzels now?
He shakes his head.
Swanky events, man. Swanky events.
Ryan tries to give Mike a friendly bro clap on the shoulder. Mike brushes his hand away. Ryan struts off towards the buffet table.
This fucking generation.
Cut 2. Interior upscale hotel ballroom evening. Adeline, Phil, and Mike sit at a circular table with a couple of other guests eating. Phil entertains the table with stories from med school.
And that's when I said to Nurse Christie, needles, am I right?
The doctors at the table burst out laughing, some of them hitting their fists on the table enthusiastically. Adeline chuckles politely. Mike looks bored out of his mind. Phil takes a large bite of fish. He lets out a satisfied sound.
Wow. You can practically taste the iron in this. Right, Addie?
Adeline nods, takes a bite of her own fish. A timer on Phil's smartwatch chimes, a soft, rhythmic sound. Phil presses a button to stop the timer, sets down his silverware, and closes his eyes. The other doctors at the table continue to chat quietly and pick at their food. Phil settles his body. He begins deep breathing exercises from his diaphragm. In 4 counts, out 4 counts. Mike stares, mouth agape.
Did he just power off?
Adeline shushes him. Phil keeps breathing.
Shh. His daily meditation.
Mike makes a slitting motion across his own neck. Adeline rolls her eyes. The sound of someone lightly tapping a microphone echoes across the ballroom. Guests turn their attention to see an MC on stage. The MC's voice rings out.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've been enjoying your meals. It's now time for some entertainment.
Phil's eyes pop open. Mike, his attention still on Phil, looks slightly alarmed.
We have a special last-minute guest. We're so happy he was able to join us tonight. He comes from a fine little comedy joint across town. You all probably know it.
Mike leans over and whispers to Adeline.
You didn't tell me this was happening right now.
Well, you're prepared, right?
Mike doesn't answer.
Right?
Yeah, I mean...
Give it up for Mike Jersey from Titters Comedy Club.
The crowd gives a round of applause. From across the room, Ryan puts a fist in the air. He hollers.
Yeah, Big Mike?
Never mind, just go, get up there.
Mike gets up from his chair. Phil gives him a nod. Mike walks on stage. He reaches the microphone stand as the audience falls quiet.
Thank you all for that warm welcome. I'm happy to have the opportunity to get you all laughing and snorting tonight.
Silence. Someone from the audience coughs. Lots of confused faces.
Snorting as in, well, because some people snort when they laugh. No, we're sorry, we're not doing coke tonight. Anyway.
Mike looks into the audience. He sees Adeline put one hand to her face, partly shielding her eyes.
All right, so let's dive into them.
Mike exhales into the microphone. Cut 2. Interior hotel ballroom evening. Mike stands on stage in the middle of his comedy set. The audience is alive with energy. Mike finishes a punchline.
So doctors actually do go on vacations.
The audience laughs.
Yeah. You know who's a really, really good doctor? I bet he's a really good doctor. You'll know Dr. Phil? No, not the famous one. I'm talking about your coworker, Dr. Phil. He's over there.
Mike boldly points to where Phil is sitting. Audience members turn in their seats to look at Phil. Phil awkwardly waves at them. A few of his coworkers wave back.
So your friend over there is completely reliable. Probably the only time Phil ever took a day off was when he needed to file an insurance claim on his bike basket. Oh, stressful day.
Adeline stares daggers at Mike from her seat across the room. Mike pretends not to notice.
But let me tell you though, Phil's a blast. He is a blast. Take him to happy hour and he'll do shots of sparkling water. One after the other, after the other.
The audience roars. Phil's coworkers point and laugh. Phil, slightly uncomfortable, chuckles along.
And did you know that Phil has a timer on his phone that reminds him when to breathe? The guy's gotten through 8 years of med school and hasn't mastered the science of breathing.
The audience begins to clap. Phil looks around, laughs at his coworkers' joyous faces around him. Adeline can't stop looking at Mike.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding. It's called meditation.
Mike does air quotes.
Well, anyways, thanks for being a good sport, Phil. If this was too stressful, remember, you can always puff some more Tums, buddy.
The audience laughs more. A guest laugh cries, wipes a tear from their eye.
Anyways, I hope I entertain you all. Go have some more drinks. Make it better than sparkling water.
Mike leaves the stage and goes to the exit door. Adeline follows close on his heels. Interior hallway, night. Adeline bursts through the double doors. She drags Mike by the throat. Releasing him, she pushes him up against the wall. She paces as he scrambles for air.
Jesus Christ! You're still really fucking strong. That was completely unnecessary.
Oh, don't tell me what's unnecessary after that bullshit you just pulled out there.
Oh, come on, Adi. It was just playing around. The crowd loved it.
You humiliated Phil after what he did for you.
What he did for me? You mean this pity gig he gave out of fucking pity? I mean, besides, Phil had a blast with it.
Because he had to, Mike. Another favor to you, and you threw it back in his face.
He's a big boy, Addie. He's a doctor.
Adeline breathes heavily as she paces. She eyes him intensely. Then,
You know, he probably still drinks his mom's titty milk.
Adeline explodes.
Stop! Stop it, Mike! Stop it for once! What's wrong with you? What is going on? You've been hanging off of the side of a cliff for years now, and it's about time you grew a pair and pulled your yourself up.
A fire ignites behind Mike's eyes.
You know what? The only thing wrong with me is that I have to watch you play this perfect, strong woman bullshit character.
Why, Mike? Why is it bullshit? Because it's good? Because I'm healthy? Because I'm finally doing better for myself? Because that's not a character, Mike.
You act like nothing affects you, like our separation.
Of course, the end of our marriage affects me. I'm fucking devastated, okay? Is that what you wanted me to say? I'm devastated that you are not the same man I fell in love with all those years ago.
Mike looks at Adeline. He's stunned. Phil knocks on the hallway door and pokes his head into the entrance.
How are we doing out here?
Mike startles, shakes out his hands. His face returns to a normal expression.
Man of the hour.
Phil slowly enters the hallway. He goes to stand near Adeline.
I'm going outside for a smoke. Yes, I know it's not healthy.
Do you want me to come with you?
Adeline doesn't respond. She brushes past Phil and exits. Phil and Mike stand alone in the hallway. Phil puts his hands in his pockets. He tries to give a slight smile.
That was some show.
Yeah, you should have seen the after party.
Phil's smile falters.
Can I be real with you for a moment?
Mike shrugs his shoulders and gestures for him to go on.
Is everything a joke to you?
Mike looks at Phil. Really looks at him.
No, it's not.
Look, I've really only just met you. But it's clear you're important to Adeline. And, she only wants what's best.
I know Adeline.
Then, you know what she deserves.
Phil starts to leave. He turns back and looks at Mike.
Keep the blazer. You look good.
Phil exits, the hallway door swinging shut behind him. Exterior hotel parking lot, night. Mike bursts through the double hotel doors into the parking lot. He holds a liquor bottle from the event in one hand. His breathing is ragged. He looks up, tries to see the stars. All he sees is pollution. He lets out an angry sigh. A single drop of rain hits his face. One fist clenches and unclenches at his side. Another drop. It's sprinkling now. He wipes the raindrops from his brow and begins to walk. A red Camaro pulls up beside him. The driver's side window rolls down, revealing the driver. It's Ryan.
Hey, Mike, need a ride?
No, I'm good.
Mike continues walking. Ryan's car follows beside him slowly.
Really? Because it's starting to rain.
I said I'm good. God, does the whole world feel the need to pity me?
It's just a ride.
So just fuck off!
Ryan shakes his head. He drives forward, passing Mike up and exiting the parking lot. His car speeds as it gets on the main road. Mike walks, taking swigs of the liquor every so often. He's almost at the highway. He stumbles a little, unbalanced from the alcohol. The glow of headlights approach. Mike lifts his head and blinks from the glare. The car slows as it nears Mike. The windows roll down. Mike recognizes one of Phil's coworkers from the event sitting in the passenger seat. The coworker calls out to Mike, "Freaking good show tonight. You got Phil good." Phil's coworker lets out a deep laugh. The car peels off, continues on down the highway. Another car passes, and someone else yells into the night, "Awesome! See you at your next show, dude." Mike stands still. He takes in his surroundings, the patch of grass and gravel at the end of the main road. The liquor bottle hangs loosely in his hand. It happens again. "Sick jokes!" The event guest's voice fades into the air as their car whooshes by. Mike begins to walk again, shuffling his feet in the gravel. He takes a final swig from the bottle, then tosses it to the side. It lands in a tall patch of grass nearby. He keeps his head up, continuing on. Fade out. End.
Thank you guys so much. You guys were amazing. Feel free to exit the stage or go to the green room if you want to. And writers, come on up to the stage. Unless you guys want to go around the table and just say your name and who you are and your major and whatnot.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm a grad student of film, and I got my BSA in dramatic writing last year.
Hello. Hi, my name is Walter. I'm taking dramatic writing as my major. I'm in my junior year.
Hi, my name is Desmond Lane. I'm a dramatic writing senior. And yeah, that's it.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a senior and I'm a writing major, not a dramatic writing major.
Hello, my name is Kyra. I'm a sophomore and I'm a film and television major. There we go.
I'm Jacob. I am also a film and television sophomore.
I'm CJ. I'm a dramatic writing sophomore, and I'm going to go sit with the writers now.
All right. Thank you so much, our fantastic writers, for coming up and introducing yourselves. So let's take any questions that you might have for them. Avery.
Yeah, first off, congratulations. That was really fun, and I love comics and painting. That was so fun to watch. I love really proud of the great script. What research did you guys do in terms of stand-up? Are you any stand-up comics, or was there any particular shows or media you watched that helped you with both Mike's and the younger, better Brian's comic?
So, a big inspiration that I personally had, I kind of grew up on Seinfeld and Brian Regan and Mike Birbiglia. Those are huge inspirations on kind of how I even form my personality. So I knew that I wanted to make a story about some sort of comedian, and I think that the funniest part about comedians is they're usually in a lot of pain. I'd say that a big inspiration on Ryan would be someone like Pete Davidson, or like an up-and-coming comedian where we don't quite, if we're older people, we don't quite understand their humor, but it's a lot of modern stuff.
All right. Any other questions? Ian? So in case the writers didn't hear it, Ian asked, what was the outline like for the script?
So for the outline, we knew we wanted to have 3 acts traditionally. We even considered doing 5 acts, but then we moved it back to 3 based on our characters and just how we saw the vision for the script. So we really just started by deciding who these characters were and really giving them personalities that felt real and had some depth. So we really started with the characters first, and then we thought, well, what could this person do that would lead to this consequence and so forth. So we really figured out the characters first, and then we started beating out the action. And once we knew the characters, it almost felt simple to decide what they were going to do. So I felt this was a character-driven script, and without knowing them, we couldn't decide kind of what actions and what consequences came from that. So that's how we went about with the outline, but we did beat out everything before writing the script.
Yeah, I definitely got the impression that it's character-based. We have some pretty great characters in there. Do we have any other questions, comments from the audience? Yeah, in the back.
Sorry, I'm way back here. As a writer's room, how did y'all split up the responsibilities of actually writing the script? Were certain people responsible for certain scenes, or did y'all have like equal input on the script as a whole?
Great question. So we got a question about splitting up the writing responsibilities and the organization.
Yeah, so basically when we were developing the idea for the story, we kind of all did it collectively. Especially during the character work, like we were just talking about, everything was super fleshed out. And then from there, we kind of all took a stab at the teaser, And after that, we kind of split up into groups or individuals and assigned different parts of the script to whoever was specifically interested in it, or, you know, just to make things even here. And from there, we reviewed it all, pulled the best parts out, and kind of enhanced it and edited it as a team together.
Awesome. All right, do we have any other questions from the audience? Yeah, Avery again.
Yeah, so I loved, there was depth of art, you know, this pilot. What thing that I maybe I was clear, but I'm curious. Why specifically do you all think Mike and Adelaide broke up? And it's fine with me that it's not explicit in the pilot. Like I understand it. I'm just curious if you guys will have that discussion with the writers. Like what was the turning point for her, the straw that broke the camel's back in the dissolution of their relationship?
So to reiterate for our camera at the back, what might have caused the breakup between Mike and Adeline?
So when I was like, I know CJ and I worked on that kind of big argument scene towards the end. So I don't think we actually really got to the nitty gritty towards the end of their separation as they're still kind of going through that divorce. But like my thing was just having this light inside of Mike that was so vibrant from him in the beginning, had that kind of just slowly start to die and falter, and it was something that was pulling Adeline down as well. Which is why there's that line of saying like, because I'm doing better now, that's not a character, that's just who I'm trying to actually become. And just Mike's not there yet. And I felt like as like the kind of, we really wanted Adeline to be a boss bitch, like that's how we envisioned her from the entire beginning, and it just seemed natural, I think, that or like that type of a strong-willed character wouldn't hang around someone who's kind of on his own sinking ship. So that's kind of like at least how I think I approached it in terms of that scene.
All right. Any other final questions, thoughts? All right. I will ask one of my own, if you don't mind. Like you were saying, I think it's really cool. This was such a character-driven story. But I was wondering, as far as like, I don't know, a thesis or a theme or just something you want to leave the audience with, like, what would you say is kind of the, like, what's it all about for you, Mike Jersey? One word, one sentence, whatever.
At least for me, I feel that each of us can pull something different from Mike Jersey, and I felt that we all feel different parts of ourselves within it. But for me, I took it mostly as if someone's losing their light, you have to know when it's toxic and leave for your own safety or for your own well-being. So if I was putting myself in Adeline's shoes, she's been with him for like 20 years or something. Like she opened this comedy club with him. He's been the star of the show, but he's losing his light. So she has to kind of separate herself and get out of that situation while still working with him. So for me, I take it almost a lesson from that being like, know when to quit with someone, know when it's just not enough anymore, and do right by yourself and get out of situations that you need to live your best life. So that's what I took from it, but I think we all each individually took something. Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to add to that as well. I think we can all kind of relate to a certain aspect where we get to a point in our lives where things are changing and you're not the same person you were before, but you might still be in that same scenario you were before. And it's kind of whether you stay in this and you try to change yourself to fit better back into it, or you have to let go of everything that you knew and that you were comfortable with and have to move on. So I think a big theme in this script is change and how different people cope with it. And that's what I felt from it.
I know that it's such a beautiful like windup, and I do have another question. May I go?
Yeah, for sure.
This is inspiring me. I'm thinking before. So, did Mike ever have, which of my stand-up pieces, which I loved like seeing him and then hearing his stand-up. I thought that was in his first round. That was great. Which was his most successful of all of them?
I'll speak to this.
I believe it was the one at the end where he roasts Phil.
Where he roasts Phil, great. Okay, good. I'm curious if you ever see him, or if you ever thought about seeing him in his prime. Would you say the opening, the teaser of back when he's young, is that was also in his prime?
Yes.
I really like that. At the beginning, to see him in his prime, and then we see him gain it, but at the expense of someone else. I thought all the characters were really strong. Phil was just a sweet character, you know. So I thought that was really, really nice. And there was a couple, have you ever seen Punchline, movie Punchline? You guys should check that out if you're gonna, you know, it's actually like kind of a 90s movie with Sally Field and Tom Hanks. It's about stand-ups, and it's great, and it kind of talks about some of these things. And I think it would be really, kind of bringing to mind the team behind all the comedy. Which I think you guys are really doing a good job introducing. It's a great pilot. All the characters are just really well introduced. The arc is there. So if anything, I would say, you know, let Mike go further on when he's bad, I almost want him to be worse. You don't understand that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you can push the envelope there. The homeless joke is bad, but I think what else is there? Because I think don't be afraid. You can be unlikable.
We were afraid.
He's pretty damn unlikable.
I had to like change some of the more offensive things in there because we were like, is this too far?
It's that fine line, but you know what? I think Punchline will help. It's a really well done movie about stand-up, and I think you've earned, like, you know who he is. And so I think you've earned him. Like, more cringy. I think you go a little more cringy. I think that's just a really great note. It's like, I respect what you guys are trying to be like. It's very clear what you're trying to do, but don't be afraid. You've got basis. So.
Great, thank you so much for the notes, and thank you for the questions. I want to point out my own thought about what you just called out as far as the theme. I thought it was fantastic that you talked about learning to change and adapt to change being a big part of the story for you. I think whether intentionally or not, I think it's really fascinating that the setting and the sort of central world is stand-up, because stand-up is literally about flexibility and adapting to change and, you know, getting with the audience, reading the room. So it's interesting that Mike is a person who's sort of stranded as far as his life and not being able to adapt, and how his whole job depends on that, right? It's kind of great. Yeah, all right. Well, thank you so much everyone for coming out. That was our first reading. We got 2 more. Tomorrow we've got The Beast Within at 6 p.m. from our second writer's room. It's pretty fantastic. It's about monsters, mayhem, the Dyatlov Pass, and the Russians who got stranded there in a mysterious incident. And finally on Thursday we have our last reading, Medusa, which is about the titular snake-headed woman and about her journey to escape Perseus, actually. It's pretty amazing. So come check those out tomorrow at 6 p.m. and Thursday at 6 p.m. Thanks so much.